Hey everybody, how's everybody doing tonight? I hope you're having a good Memorial Day weekend so far. Let me bring my crew in here. We got Wolfman's back with us tonight,
Hey,
and also have Mr. Paul Corliss. How you doing, Paul?
I'm doing great.
All righty. Um, let's see. I don't really have a whole lot planned for tonight. We'll take some questions and just kind of a informal hangout type thing tonight. As you can see, I'm here in my shop. I haven't been out here in a while or done one of these from out here in a while, so I thought I would dust the cobwebs off of this computer out here and do one from out here. Plus, I was out here earlier piddling around and stuff. Uh, but anyway, so if anybody's got any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. My buddy Ryan will be tagging them. And I did have one thing we can talk about a little later on. And of course, we'll be doing the giveaway. Let me go ahead and get that started so that it can be collecting. Let's see here. Okay. It will start collecting the comments or the hashtags, and what you'll need to do is put hashtag Jenny if you want in on that drawing. We will be giving away one of these right here, 1/4-inch downtown Jenny, which is ironic because I was just using one of those earlier today. Did a great job. So
Such a good looking bit.
it is. So we will be giving that one away a little later tonight. And if you want in on it, put hashtag Jenny in the chat. And we'll be drawing that here in a little bit. I'll flash that thing back up there here in a little bit. Let's see. Peter's already got a question in Houston. How much does motor size or the related shank size matter on the CNC? Well, from what I know about motors, it would depend on what kind of CNC you're talking about, how much stuff it's got to move around. That's probably not the answer you're looking for, but that's about all I know to tell you. There's all kinds of different machines. Like when I had my Gatton over here, it ran NEMA 23s, 425 ounce. That little Revolution from Bob CNC I have over there, it has NEMA 17s, and I can't remember the ounce torque specs on that. Do you remember, Ryan? Is it 78 or something? It's really pretty low, I think.
I think so, yeah.
I think it's 78-inch ounces. And of course, the Avid back here has NEMA 34s, and it is, I want to say I can't remember the exact number, 936 or something like that as far as the size of them. But it just depends on, a lot of things. What you're using for your linear motion, how big a machine you're moving around, and all that kind of stuff. It's not
the biggest thing I think to remember is to order them all the same, so that you order the same couplers with the proper shaft length or width and stuff like that with them.
Yeah. Yeah, I always tell people, because if you're talking about one of my kits, the Gatton CNC, I always tell folks, don't order the coupler kit because Tim at Dumpster CNC has all that set up where you just order a Gatton CNC kit and it comes with the right number of couplers and the right number of Acme nuts and all that. But you don't want to get that until you've decided on, and preferably have them in hand, the stepper motors. And another thing I always tell folks too is all that the lead screws, the stepper motors, and the couplers and the Acme nuts, that's the last thing you'll put on the machine. So don't, I wouldn't worry about getting those first. I would get all the other mechanical stuff done, get a rolling chassis, get up, make sure it's square and all that kind of stuff before I would even worry with getting it. But I see a lot of people order that stuff right off the bat, and then they get in a hurry and they order that. In fact, I had somebody email me just the other day, and they said, well, I got some, he called them lead screws, but I think he ordered half 10 threaded rod is what I think he did. And why he didn't order what, because he told me right in the email, he goes, I didn't get what you had on the list. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know why you wouldn't order from the link I give you, because I'm telling you exactly what to get. But anyway, he had got the wrong thing that didn't fit. So
mistakes cost money.
Meadows in that. Russ, were you wanting to join us? I see down here you say I don't have the link. I can send you the link if you want, or I think I can. I don't use the email on this computer though. I could probably send it through a Facebook message if you want it. Okay, I must have missed something here.
Peter, he notices that the Onefinity only comes with a smaller Makita rope mount or the 80 millimeter spindle, but no other mounts like the Avid has or what have you. Well, that's because it's intended for that size. You wouldn't want to put a full horsepower spindle or router on there because it's not built for that.
Well, I know that. In fact, he's out there in the chat. JR has. Let me see. I'll probably say it wrong. He had a spindle, and I can't remember what size it was. I want to say
65 millimeter.
Yeah, when I say size, I mean diameter, not power.
Yeah.
But he had, I think, a 65 millimeter, and then he had some interference issues, and he just put a video out the other day, I think, where he upgraded. I think it was 80
to 80. Yeah.
80 millimeter diameter spindle, and now he doesn't have that problem with but he had to swap out some other components in there too. He's got a good video. Go check him out over there at Trade Skillers Anonymous, and check out that video.
John's asking if
did I just go ahead?
We both hit it.
I know we clicked at the same time on different stuff. I'll
That's
let
right.
you drive.
He's asking if I have a CNC, and yes, John, I do. I have a Gatton, and also I have the Revolution from Bob CNC. So, and then I also have a K40 laser, the Ender 3, and one of the Cricut little vinyl cutters too.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Let's see if I look distracted, it's probably because I am. I'm trying to keep an eye on my 3D printer to make sure it's running a test print, and they only send that little dinky thing of stuff. So I know it's probably going to run out here in a little bit. So I'm probably going to run in there and shut it off when it runs out.
Somebody mentioned my mic volume was quite loud. Is that, or whoever said that, is it better now?
Yeah. Did you turn it down?
I changed it to automatic.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. There's JR. It says he went from to an 80 millimeter and a 2.2 kilowatt. Yeah. So he's got that's 2.2 kilowatt. I think that's right at 3 horsepower. If you're thinking horsepower, pretty close to it, I think. But
Yeah. John says that I've got all the bases covered. I do, and my wife hates every bit of it. But that's why I have a scoreboard.
Yeah, you got to have a scoreboard to keep up with all your stuff. Oh yeah, wait, you got one.
Yeah. It's a hockey one, but it's still a scoreboard.
Yeah.
It'll get hung pretty soon, hopefully, as soon as I'm over this injury.
Yeah, I'm going to send something here. Let's see if I can find him. There he is. All right. Okay. Yeah, I was going to, I saw, there he is. Good evening, Russ. How are you, buddy?
Oh, Russ.
Hey, Paul. Right. I did everything I could do to get in here, but
Well, I had to, Ryan said he was going to be available tonight, so I had to swap team members. They charge. See, they give you 2, but then they count me as one of them. So
okay.
it's an extra like $15 a month, and I'm not going to do it just for one.
No,
I just keep kicking somebody off and putting somebody else back on.
Yeah,
That's how I do it.
It's not no big deal. I just thought it was on my end.
No, you're good.
Okay. I said I looked for that thing, and it says this morning. It said you're doing a show, or yesterday it said you're doing a show, and so went back to that spot. It's not there no more.
Oh yeah. Well, it was just today. I asked Ryan
It's cool.
if he was going to be here, and then I hear something over there. Oh, I guess, can y'all hear that? There's something's in here with me. I don't know what it is.
Bearcat.
It's not one of them snakes you get in there, is it?
I hope not. I have come out here and there was a copperhead sitting right there one day.
I remember
Wow.
that. I remember that. That'd be the last day I come in that shop.
I'd burn that sucker down.
Yeah, I'd be moving to another state.
I'm hearing something back there. I don't know what it is. Oh well. If you see something sneak up behind me, somebody let me.
Holler.
I don't know what that noise is. But yeah, I got after that we came. I'd come home from work back. This is several years ago when I was working, and I came home from work, and I always come through the garage, and I'd gone in and sat down and relaxed a little bit, and then back then I had Rocky, and didn't even have Jack then. We got ready to come out, let him out, and we opened up the door, and I realized I'd left the garage door open. I forgot to close it, and dang, there wasn't a big old copperhead sitting right in the middle of the garage.
Whew.
Did
Oh,
he
Harry.
soon turn into pieces of copperhead?
I'm afraid I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that, Harry. They probably won't kill you, but they will put you in the hospital if you're not careful. You don't want to get bit with them. Like I said, they're probably not going to kill you, but they have stuff on the news every spring when it starts getting warm, because usually somebody gets bit and they always do a big story on them, how they'll swell up real big and all that. So
Wow.
I don't have time for that. So I don't. Brooks says, "Bring my dog out here." He
You'll
wants to
find it.
stay in there where it's cooler. It's not bad out here. It's fairly nice, but
No, I heard that.
did you?
Like something shuffling.
Yeah, there's something in here. I'm telling you. I don't know what it is.
It's an extra voter.
Was it happening before I got here?
I didn't hear it. I don't think. Is it something that you're doing?
No, but Russ does have his little
My habit-
minions that run
Oh,
around.
maybe
got
it's maybe it's your dog I'm hearing then.
Well, right now she's not doing anything, but she's laying on a
Okay.
hardwood floor. So if she moves and you tell me you heard it, okay, it's me.
Okay.
I'm not sure though.
All right. Well, we won't worry about it. It could, if it is something in here that came in while I had the door up, it's probably a squirrel or a chipmunk or something like that. I don't think it'd be anything too dangerous. Yes, it sounds like Dave's 3D printer is running. It is, but there's no way you could hear it from here.
Oh, Mark says you can keep those stealth snakes out here. The rattlesnakes at least warn you.
Yeah, yeah. That's the bad thing about the copperheads, because they really blend in good in with leaves and stuff with their coloring. You can't. I'll never forget one of the first times I was round back at my shop, and again, this is several years ago when Rocky was still around, and I saw Rocky acting funny. And he kind of jumped back and I'm like, what the heck is he looking at? And then he kept like leaning forward, like he was looking at something, but he was scared to get close to it. He was like keeping his distance. So I walked down there and I'm standing right behind Rocky going, what the heck is he looking at? And I couldn't see a thing. And finally I said, come on, Rocky. And about that time, that snake moved. And when it moved, that's when I saw it. And I'm like, holy cow, I've been staring at the thing the whole time and didn't see it. But now, since I've had some other close calls, I can spot them pretty good now. I know exactly what they look like.
Do you live near a swamp or a lake or something?
Well, there's some,
Atlanta.
yeah, that's close enough. There is a creek or something back behind my property that feeds a lake across the street over that way. So I don't know.
So here's a quick story for you. So last year, I don't know, it was March, maybe something like that. I was working in this customer's garage. I was adding batteries to their solar system or something. And so I push up the garage door and I'm standing underneath of it. And all of a sudden something falls right on top of me.
Oh,
Turned out it was a snake. It was in the rails of the garage door. But it was cold enough that the snake wasn't really moving around a whole lot. So it just fell like a brick right on top of me.
did you have to check your pants?
Oh, I didn't have to bother checking.
We probably had to change them after that.
Yeah.
Holy
Oh
cow.
my God, it scared the bejesus out of me. It was nuts.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it was just a black snake, and no harm, no foul. But that sucker was like 3-4 feet long.
Yeah. Well, anything that crawls without legs,
Yes.
is creepy to me.
Same here.
Yep.
Now, if I do see like a rat snake or black snake or something, they'll startle me if they catch me by surprise. But I'm not going to hurt them. I'm going to let them go because I know get rid of the other stuff. But a copperhead, if I can get to him, he's got to go. Let's get some more questions here. Let's see. Ryan's answered that one, I think. Let's go. JR says, for the panel, what got you to pull the trigger on your first CNC? Was it a project you had in mind, a need that had to be filled, or just a discretionary wanted to?
I'll take that one.
Yeah, I'll let you guys have that one because
mine was a discretionary. I wanted one real bad. And when I first met Dave, I found out he was the CNC guy. So we had a talk after a show, and I ended up pulling the trigger just because I wanted one for a long time. No particular need, just wanted one.
Yeah, and since you've had one,
Done quite a few things.
You have done a lot of stuff. Is it fair to say that your specialty is 3D stuff?
For the most part.
Yeah.
For the most part right now. Yeah. I do very little of the 2D stuff right now. The 3D stuff is where my passion is.
All right. Who wants to
go ahead, Paul?
Mine was discretionary too. I watched a lot of Dave's shows and I thought, boy, is that ever neat? That does a lot of neat stuff. And so I bought one. Then I realized you have to learn something to be able to make that neat stuff. And that's the hard part. And the machine is easy. It's everything else that comes along that's tough. But I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
Same here.
Thank you, JR. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, JR. Always taking care of the boys.
He is, isn't he?
Yep.
Let's see. How do I get back over here to them comments?
For me,
yeah, go
mine
ahead.
was fight. So I had been wanting one for a while, and I had honed in on the Gatton. And then my wife went out and bought like $600 worth of tickets for Metallica one day. And I was like, I'm not even the one going. I'm buying a CNC. Here we go. So I kind of bought mine out of spite.
Well, even better than that, or along the same lines, my wife, I tried to retire when I turned 60, and I could have, but my wife didn't want me to. And she made a deal with me. If I could keep the money I had in the bank and use it for a CNC, if I'd keep on working for 2 more years. And so I did, and I got one of his garage works with that money. I had to make a deal with the devil sometimes, but it worked out okay.
We all do when we get married.
Yeah. I'm still hearing things now. I hope that's your dog in the back.
Nope, she's not moving.
That I'm hearing, but because I'm hearing something right over there in that corner.
You're vindicated. See, it wasn't you after all.
Look at that. Phantom F-15s. That'd be
Wow.
awesome.
Oh yeah, they would.
Yeah. Yeah, I have been working around. Well, I guess you'd call it CNC equipment. It was automated equipment. It wasn't really, well, some of it was G-code stuff, but a lot of it was a whole different proprietary language. A Salvagnini machine. Look it up on Google sometime. It's an Italian machine that I ran for a lighting company that I worked at. So I was always around a lot of automated stuff, and I always liked, the fact that you could spend time setting the machine up and hit a button and just watch it run, or it would run while you're doing something else or whatever. So that's what's got me interested. And then when I decided to try to build one, it was only because I didn't have any money. So, so I thought, well, Dave, you're a sheet metal guy. You sit here and design sheet metal parts all day long. Why not try to design your own? So I designed my own, and then after about the third or fourth iteration of CNCs, when I just hit on one that runs really good, and I thought, yeah, this probably should be because I was trying to make a CNC so that I could make some little product. And then after I got the CNC done, I thought, now this needs to be the product right here. So, but I've been selling them off and on for a long, long time. Most of you folks out there that think you know me a long time, you don't. you only know some of the more recent stuff, but I've been around doing this a long time. Anyhow, all right, we'll cross that one off the list here. Let's see. Peter's got another one. So, is it common that the only way to get a 1/2-inch shank collet is to switch to a spindle rather than a larger router motor? Well, I don't really know how to answer that one either, because if you're talking about like the Makitas and the small DeWalts and the stuff that don't really run a 1/2-inch thing, there are, like, I've got a Porter Cable 690 series right over there. All the full size routers usually come with a 1/4-inch collet and a 1/2-inch collet. But if you have one of those smaller routers like the Makita or the DeWalt, or even Porter Cable makes a small one as well. If you've got one of those and you're going to have to get something else anyway, and you're going to be running or need to run 1/2-inch bits, you might as well go with a spindle. At least in my opinion.
It'd be better.
Now my spindle only runs a 1/4-inch is the biggest I can use in it. But I've never figured out a reason why I'd need anything bigger than that, unless I was going to do some major production kind of stuff. Of course, I haven't been in it that long to know either. I don't know what I don't know yet. Well,
you'll probably get to a point sometime when you go, well, I'd like to use a 1/4-inch bit, but I really need the length. And even if you can find a bit that's long enough, then you start dealing with deflection.
Yeah.
So that's usually why, when you want to go cut thicker materials, go in deeper. That's usually when you need to start stepping it up to a 1/2-inch shank. I've got a bit. In fact, let's see if I can. Let me see if I can get it without destroying my stuff here, like I did last time. Try not to knock everything off.
Here it goes.
Here we go.
Hey, you might find what's making noise in there. Watch it. Be careful.
This is probably the longest bit I have right now. It is a 1/2-inch.
Wow.
It's a 3-flute. If I hold it where you can see it, maybe.
How long is the cut on that?
The cutting area, I believe, is 2 inches.
It looks like it's more than that.
Might be. Maybe it's almost 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
it's that eagle eye, boy, you can't beat it.
It's a big one. But that's the one I would use when I'm doing guitar bodies.
That'd be
not so much to do the pockets for the the wiring and the the pickups and stuff like that, you don't really have to use one that big. But when you're trying to part the whole thing out of a blank, because they're about almost 2 inches thick, usually 1 3/4 inches.
That's good size for a lot of 3D designs, because a lot of times you need that thicker wood, and you have to get down in it to bring the design out and make it pop and stuff. And I've gone to using 1/4 inch shank, but it's got a 1/2 inch head on it, and it's not really a strong 1/2 inch bit. I got it from MCLS or something like that, and so it's not.
Did I hear you right? It's a 1/4 inch shank.
Yeah.
But okay.
The cutting head is a 1/2 inch, but it's a 1/4 inch shank. And you can go so far with that, but if you get down in there heavy with it, that's another story. I'd be scared that I would bust that shaft, that shank. I mean, but there's been times when I needed a bit like yours for some cuts, because believe it or not, that 1/2 inch makes the roughing a lot easier, a lot quicker.
Yeah, well,
than a 1/4 inch does.
That's one thing that's nice about the spindle. Like I bought the Chinese, I probably can't say it right. It's the Hung Yang or something like that. Their kit. It came with the water cooled spindle, the VFD, a little bit of hose and stuff, and then it came with a bunch of collets. In fact, most of the collets I've never used, but the main ones I use is the 1/4 and the 1/2, and it even came with an 1/8, and I don't think I've ever even used, because I use a lot of 1/8 bits, but I always get them with a 1/4 inch shank. Yeah. Just that way I can use them on other routers that I have.
Yeah.
But there's all kinds of, in that kit, it came with, I don't know, probably a dozen or so collets from 6 millimeter, 5, all these that I'll probably never use.
Yeah.
But it came with them. But that's one thing that's nice about getting a spindle, is you don't really have to worry about, not being able to run a tool because you don't have the thing to fit it. So
yeah, my little DeWalt, it comes with a 1/4 inch and that's it. But I bought one. A 1/2 inch is supposed to fit, so I could use those Jenny bits that I won. And if I can get them, if it works with that, like it says it will, then I'll have an 1/8 inch collet and a 1/4 inch, and that's all I can do with that thing.
All right, JR's got another question here. He says, I'm on my second spindle, and this will be a silly question. No such thing as a silly question. Considering that fact, do spindles react to load by increasing power to stay at the same RPM? I am not an expert on spindles, particularly the 220 kind, but it's my understanding that you are correct, that they are able to keep more consistent RPMs because they got the oomph to do it. Whereas on 110, it may start bogging down.
The VFD wouldn't show the change of speed.
Well, mine does, because mine's mounted right on the wall over there. Now the one for the Avid, it's down in that controller over there, so I can't see it. But the other one is mounted on the wall, and it would never stay the same RPM. In fact, when you're dialing it, you dial it and try to get it close to what you want, but you'd be out there all day trying to get it, because you keep going. You set it and it goes too high, and you try to move it back down, and it goes too. So you just kind of set it close to what you want, about 16,000 or 12,000 or whatever it is you're trying to run. And that thing will speed up and slow down, I guess, according to how much power it needs to get the job done.
Now, my VFD is controlled by a breakout box on the controller. So I don't control my bit speed by the VFD. I control it through the controller.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have a really dumb question because I don't know. If you go to a spindle that's 220 volt, does that mean you have to switch VFDs to a 220 volt VFD, or do VFDs, in addition to varying the amperage, also vary the voltage?
I wouldn't be able to answer that question.
But you're the guy.
Well, I'm not. I'm a dumb old, plywood CNC guy. I don't know. See, I didn't even wire mine up. I don't anything that's sparky and can hurt. I just get my buddy Jim to do it, and he come over here and I think I don't know, because like I said, I'm not an electrician, so somebody probably say, "Oh, you're crazy for what I say."
The term
anyway,
sparky, let us know about that, Dave.
yeah, and I've told this before, but what's funny is my buddy Jim, who's he calls himself an old country electrician. He's colorblind.
Ooh.
Oh, jeez.
And there's been a lot of times he's been over here doing work for me. He'll go, "Hey, come here, man. What color is that wire?" I'm surprised he's still around. I really.
God dang.
He'll say, "Is that the white wire or is that the brown wire?" Yeah.
Leo Steger said he controls his speed by the control program as well.
Maybe he's got mine's a 1-finity, and I wonder if he's got a 1-finity also.
Maybe he'll say.
Well, I think he's got a Gatton, unless he's got something else besides that. But let's see. JR says, "Word to the wise. I assume that when I went up from I think that's supposed to be 1.5 kilowatt to a 2.2, that I could just reprogram my VFD to the increased amperage output," and that was false.
So you had to go with a 220 VFD then, probably.
Yeah, I think they come with different, because, and again, I don't know. I just know I've seen on Amazon where they sell a kit that's the 1.5 kilowatt kit, and then they have a separate one that comes with a VFD that's the 2.2. So I guess there's probably some kind of difference. Peter says, "For a common hobbyist, the spindle wiring in either water or air cooling is a reasonable expectation just to get a 1/2-inch collet. I used the 1-finity and was hoping for the PC 690, 890 mount." Well, I'm going to say something. Probably nobody out here will like it. I am not too proud that if I wanted to run a certain kind of router and nobody made a mount for it, I am not too proud to use plywood. I have run many a mount out of plywood, and you got a CNC, so you could make one. There's nothing wrong. I mean, you can't really see it that good, but right back here now, that's not a plywood mount, but my dust shoe, the 2-piece dust shoe, it's plywood. On an Avid machine. So, but it works. And I think it's way better than a lot of them 3D printed ones. So, because I always see the 3D printed ones, the guys always posting on Facebook where it's in 3 pieces when it used to only be in 1 or 2. So, but
I'm throwing a few questions over for you.
Okay. I got to start deleting these as we do them too. Okay, we've done that one. We've done that one. We've done that one. Okay, JR says, "True, Paul, and I do the same. Breakout box to 1-finity, so speed RPM is set in CAD CAM. I'm just wondering if the spindle bogs down in a deep or fast cut, or if it throttles up to meet the load. I believe that's what part of what the VFD does. Is that
it should be running a PID algorithm inside of it, trying to speed up the bit.
It knows what RPM it's trying to hit, and I think it'll go more power or less power, whatever it needs to do to try to get as close to that RPM as it can. Let's see. George says, all the spindle talk makes me think air-cooled or liquid-cooled, and what size for the big Gatton. I am liking 2 horsepower. Any thoughts? I was set up with a Porter cable 690. Well, I have right now, that machine has a little Makita on it. That's got a Porter cable 690. I had a 2.2 kilowatt water cooled spindle. I think that one's a 2.2 air cooled spindle. So I've had all kinds of stuff. And if you're using a Porter cable 690, is, I'm pretty sure it's like about 1 3/4 horsepower. If you go up to the 890 series, I think they're 2 1/4 horsepower. So either of those would be right around where, if you're wanting to get 2 horsepower. But if you're wanting to get into a spindle, and this is just my personal preference now because I've had both for a while, I would go with an air-cooled spindle simply because I'm not doing anything where I really need to get the RPMs down below 8,000, which that's the nice thing about a water-cooled is it's going to stay cool. If you're turning it at 60 RPM, it's still going to be cool. But with the air-cooled, because it's got the fan cooling it, you're probably going to have to keep it around 8,000, unless it's one of the newer ones. I think they've got a newer one out now that has a fan that's not controlled by the RPM of the motor. So if you have one like that, it'd be okay. But anyway, I don't know. If you already have a Porter cable in your hand, I would just use that.
Yeah.
Until you're doing something that you find out it just won't do it. But I love Porter cable routers. In fact, I probably got a half a dozen or more different sizes. I've got 2 or 3 690s. I've got the big boy, the 75 18, I think it is. I mean, that thing's big. I've got a little Porter cable 450, which is basically the same thing as the DeWalt 611, except it doesn't have the little knob for the speed. It's just a one speed. Yeah. But
those are fine for just short 2D cuts, but when you get into 3D stuff that take a long time, you're gonna wear out brushes on those pretty quick.
Yeah.
And I'll be changing brushes. I've got one I got to change brushes in now.
Yeah.
Spindles are the way to go if you're going to do very long 3D image cuts.
Yeah, that's a good point. You will go through some brushes if you're doing those long runs. Let's see. Raymond says, I have heard you talk in the past about having really good method for holding bits in your routers that has a quick release. Oh, you're talking about the
muscle chuck.
The muscle chuck. Yeah, it's on that Porter cable over there. Yeah, it's just you just have to go Google muscle chuck, and they make a bunch of different sizes. So make sure you get the one that fits whatever router you're going to put it on. But it just uses an Allen wrench, and you just stick the bit in there and tighten it down. It's really fast. You know, I'm probably not a big fan. I won't say I'm not a big fan of them. It's just I don't use that much. I'm usually using something with a spindle. But one thing I did try is I tried putting that muscle chuck on the router that I had in my router table that I have built into the wing of my table saw, and I can't use it because it makes the height stick up too much, so you can't crank it down to get it out of the way. So I tried it there, and I thought, nope, that's not going to work, because it adds probably an inch or so, I guess, to the overall length of stuff.
Well, that answered Harry's question.
Sure did. Right on cue.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Mark said he didn't like the muscle. A lot of people swear by them. The only reason I got that one that I have on that router right there is because somebody sent it to me. I didn't buy it. So.
Well, he said it's good for the router table.
Yeah, no, there's the question you were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have never taken the time to measure it, but there's got to be some, just the way it's made. They've advertised that there isn't, but it's just there's got to be some, I think. But let's see, I have to keep going back up here, clicking. Oh, I guess we've got all the questions. Let's see, how long we been on here? 53 minutes?
Yep.
I really didn't think I almost didn't even do a show tonight because I figured it'd be kind of a light crowd because being the holiday weekend. But y'all had some good questions.
So you said earlier in the show that Russ almost had to fill in for me because we didn't know if I was going to be here, and so wanted to explain to everybody what's been the stupid junk that's been going on with me real quick. So like 2 Sundays ago, I was working on the building, working. My arm started getting sore, and by the end of the day, I could tell my arm was getting all kind of swollen up and stuff, and so went into the urgent care the next day. They said, "Oh, your bursa sac is inflamed and you got some fluid in there. You just take it easy for a couple weeks." And went home and promptly started sleeping a whole lot. And my arm was getting really hot. I was starting to get fevers. So by Wednesday, I went to my regular doctor, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you've got an infection in there. Let's get you on some medicine and get you some shots and stuff." So was doing that for several days, and then over the weekend last weekend, I had to go out of town. We had a family trip planned, and I guess the adrenaline kept me going because I was feeling pretty miserable all week. But I did okay over the weekend. But then by the time Monday came around, was not doing good, and ended up I've spent most of the week in the hospital. So,
oh my goodness!
I got out. I went. Well, my doctor was like, "Oh, hey, you need to go get some antibiotic IV stuff and all that." So, stupid me. I'm thinking, okay, we'll just show up. They'll plug me in and give me antibiotics for a couple hours, and then I'll go home. And my wife knew what was going to happen, and she didn't tell me. So we're sitting there, and they're like, "All right, well, we're getting you a room. I was like, whoa, why are we getting a room? I'm just supposed to get some antibiotics and go home." They're like, "Oh no, you're here for days." I was like, "I don't have time for this shit." No. And so I spent the last several days in the hospital, and they finally let me out last night, and so got all.
Oh
kind
boy!
of see it there. It's a
Wow.
bit of a mess. But it sounds like the building's out of commission here for a couple of weeks until it gets a little bit better.
That come from swinging the hammer?
I don't know. Some people had been saying something about spider bites, which I'm not ruling out because in some of the metal that I was putting up under the soffit and all that had spider sacks in it. So I have gotten bitten? I don't remember getting bitten, but it's possible. I'm always leaning on my elbows, and so could I have just ground something in there? It's possible. Who knows? Nobody has anything for sure. So, but we're on the mend, and we're gonna get back there. Got my little brother coming up tomorrow to mow my lawn because I can't do the zero turn with the two things.
Oh my gosh!
He's coming along. It needed to get mowed when I started not feeling well, so it's like a foot tall now. It's bad. But
Tim Keller asked a question.
Oh,
you may not have seen it.
I got it tagged here. He says, how do you do registration for your jobs? Do you do them in the same place? Anybody want to take that one?
Mine just goes where it happens to go, and I try to make it square on the table, and I use the painter's tape and super glue, and I just slap it down. But I haven't had to do a job where I had to register it in the same place twice. So that if I had to do that, then I would have to come up with a way, whether it was with some boards on the edge or or something else. But I just slap it down, and where it is, and hope I got enough wood to compensate for it being crooked.
Yeah. Mine, most everything I cut is out of a skeleton. And especially when I'm doing the Gatton CNC kits, I use a couple of clamps. In fact, I know you can't see it, and I don't have my camera out here at my other camera. But I'll take 2 clamps and I'll tighten them down just to use them as stops. And I try to get them where they're, I flush them up with the edge of the table. But when you're cutting inside a skeleton, it doesn't matter if everything is perfect this way or, if you've got it centered on the table just right. The main thing is that you've got it centered close enough that you still have a skeleton when you get done cutting. And what I'll do is I'll put a measure and put a mark in the middle of the very first blank that I run. And then from then on, I throw a blank on there. I pull it back against those stops. And as far as side to side, it's all eyeball. I look because I know that there'll be about maybe 5/16 of an inch on either side if I get it even. So that's all I'm doing is I'm just looking and go, I can feel with my fingers and go, that's about the same on both sides. And since it's in a skeleton, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're running something else, then you need to, running something where the blank is the whole part, then you need to come up with some kind of consistent way of, a lot of people cut them in an L-shaped thing or whatever. And
that's what I do.
If I've got something that's really got to be parallel to the X-axis, you can't see them at all, but in each one of those MDF strips, right in the center of it, there's like a little blind hole that's maybe 3/16 deep or something. So if I've got something that's really critical, I will in fact, I use an old bit. Usually if I got a broken bit, I'll save the shank part and I'll stick that in them holes and then take whatever I'm putting on there and pull it back against that. That way I know I've got it parallel to my X-axis. But other than that, most of the stuff I run's not that critical.
Yeah, I use the L shape. I have a piece of wood screwed down, and I have a piece of wood right behind it making that L, and man, it's perfect every time. Unless I have something oversized that I can't use that. but for most parts, it's perfect.
Yeah. Cody's hitting us up with a super chat. Yeah, I think I better give that one all to Ryan because he got the monkey pox on his arm or something. So I tell you what, though, I'm thankful to Ryan because he's a smart dude. I'm gonna tell you how smart he is.
Uh-oh.
He sent me a picture from his hospital bed,
Oh man.
and he had on those green hospital socks. And I'm thinking, yeah, I got a pair of yellow ones just like them. And then he made some kind of comment about they're color coded, and I had no idea. But he says he got green ones because what would you say? You're not
I'm not a fall risk.
Not a fall risk.
Yeah.
Well, see, I had yellow ones, so
You're a moderate fall risk. And if you
apparently
If you get red ones,
got the red ones on,
you're gonna be
They're like
strapped down.
yeah, you have the bed alarm that you get up, it starts going off on you.
Yeah. And then when they made me walk down the hallways, they bring in a walker.
Yeah.
Me and my yellow socks. But I had no idea.
man.
I just thought, well, they were out of green ones, so I got yellow ones. I had no idea that stuff was color coded. So, see, you learn something every day.
Every day.
Do gray ones mean you're on your deathbed or something?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I had
You get a
those
pair of
too.
gray ones. That might be. Yeah, that might not be good there. Yeah, Mark's he's on it there. Shanks from Broken Bits make great locating. Yeah, they're perfect, and
Yeah.
might as well throw the sharp part away, but save the shank part. And they're great for putting in those blind holes for locating stuff.
Well, he also said his socks were gray.
Holy cow! I don't know what gray means.
I don't know. That's the way that our hospital did it anyway.
Yeah. Well, it made sense after you told me that because I'm thinking, they make you get up and walk. I didn't want to do anything. I was hurting like crazy, and they said, no, you got to get up, got to go. Of course, they don't want you to get up by yourself because, like you said, they got an alarm on that bed somehow. You move too much, and there'll be 6 nurses coming in fussing at you. Yeah, they'd put on my little yellow socks and hand me a walker, and down the hallway I'd go.
Scurrying on.
We need some video of that. That'd be funny to look at.
Thankfully, there's no video, no pictures, no nothing. I'm gonna tell you, you wouldn't want to see what I look like.
One hand on the walker and one hand holding your gown shut, huh?
I didn't worry about that. They could see whatever they wanted to. I flash them. I don't care.
Yeah, they had to do a skin check, I guess, to make sure I didn't have any bed sores or anything before I got in there. And so these 2 young nurses are standing there, and of course I'm a big dude, and I went, "All right, here comes the Adonis. Get ready." I became their favorite patient for the couple
Yeah,
days.
yeah. Well, you might as well have fun while you're in there if you can.
Yeah. It was a mess. I had an inmate next door. That was the interesting thing, I think.
Oh man.
Yeah, so there was guards outside and everything. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And then the guy next to that room just kept on yelling, "Help! Help!" all the time, like for 3 days. "Help! Help!" And they're like, "What now?"
Well, did you happen to ask your inmate companion, "Hey man, what are you in here for?"
No, I didn't.
You probably didn't want to know.
Yeah, no.
Red socks indicate you have allergies.
Orange must be flight risk.
Orange means flight risk. Wow.
Flight risk.
That means you're going to get out of there with them not seeing you.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we should probably do a giveaway so these folks can get out of here.
They've been hanging on quite nicely.
They've been hanging on, and I know they're going to bail as soon as we do that giveaway. So
So we're on a marathon. We'll do the giveaway at 3 a.m.
yeah, let me check on my printer
Paul
here
will
real
be sleeping
quick.
in his chair behind him.
Got to make sure that thing's still moving around. I hope.
Mark asked, did the inmate have orange socks?
Probably did. I don't know. I never saw the guy.
Purple means do not resuscitate. There's all kinds of colors for all kinds of things, I guess.
I guess so.
Yeah. All right, let me show the thing again. You got to put hashtag Jenny. So if you're just now getting here and want in on the drawing for the Jenny bit, tonight's bit is this one right here, a downtown Jenny. That beautiful thing right there.
That's a pretty one, man.
Yeah, and like I said, I used that one earlier today. I didn't even show what I made. Let me do a little show and tell, because I never make anything. So when I do make something, I need to show it. I had made one, or had one of these drawn up when I was doing that Design Spark stuff the other day. Just think, yeah, it's finally dry. It's been a little sticky, but I made one of those.
Yeah,
one of those cross things like that.
looks pretty snazzy.
That's just some. Well, that little piece of oak right there. That piece is about, when I measured it, it was about 0.81, so almost 13/16 thick. And so I kind of milled it down using that down to half. But that turned out pretty nice for some of that old Lowe's red oak stuff.
Larry said his downtown Jenny cuts 3/4 inch oak like butter.
Yeah, they're pretty nice. I'm telling you. I can see why people keep coming here to get in on this giveaway. All right, let me get it queued up here. Again,
I wouldn't be
hashtag
upset if it was me.
hashtag Jenny is the what you want to put in there. And we have 43 entries. I'll give it a minute since I just showed the hashtag again. You know, it takes a little bit of a lag to catch up over there on YouTube. Jerry says he got his groovy today.
I need to go and get me one of those.
I got to get me one of them. I think I'm going to wait until he's got this 60-degree one. I use a 60-degree more than I do a 90.
Yeah. I use a 90 more, so if that's what he's got it in, I'm gonna have to get one.
Let's see. Big Al's in the house. He says, so are we getting the one at Dave Gatton made? What are you talking about? Are you talking about that thing I just showed or something else? I think that comment might have been earlier.
I'm not sure what he was talking about on that one.
Anyhow. All right. I think we're at 44. I'll give it just another minute and then we'll hit that thing and see who our lucky winner is tonight. And I do want to thank, look at me. I'm not even plugging the guy, for crying out loud.
And he's in the chat. He's here.
I know it, man. What a sorry host I am. Our live giveaway, our weekly live giveaway, is sponsored by Cadence Manufacturing Design, my good buddy Cody Elkins. You can check them out at www.cadencemfgdesign.com. And
Yeah.
He said,
He's
"No plug needed, brother."
getting quite. He's getting quite a collection of bits now. I think he's up to like 6, 7, 8 different bits now, something like that.
That downcut V bit is going to be real handy when using Oramask and for painting and stuff. Won't pick up the stuff and that's an hassle.
Yeah, like I said, I don't have one, but I've seen some videos people have posted cutting with Oramask,
Mm-hmm.
and it really does a great job. All right, we're going to hit this hashtag Jenny, and here we go.
Oh hell! I saw my name. I ain't gonna win.
Here it goes.
Harry Vaughn.
Harry Vaughn.
Congratulations, Harry.
Congrats.
Proud winner of a downtown Jenny. All right. Make sure, Harry, you contact Cody at his website, www.cadencemfgdesign.com. Or he's in the chat, so you might be able to get him there. But
awesome.
He'll get it out to you.
And everybody else should just go to his site and buy bits. That man needs to put some trim up around his door.
And they sure are pretty.
Yeah.
Man, they're pretty.
Get some of that, get some of that gas money. Spend it on bits.
You can't go anywhere. You might as well put it on bits.
That's right. All right. Well, has anybody else got any questions? We'll hang around here a little while, as long as usually everybody takes off after we do the giveaway. But
Yeah, they're dropping like flies.
yeah.
It's always that way.
But I kind of like doing these. Just kind of hang out, informal things, and we got a lot of good questions. One thing I was going to talk about, but I guess I can mention it now. I think I saw her out there in the chat, but let's see. It's been a week or two now, I think. But Mary was down here visiting her sister, which turns out she lives in Covington, which is not too far down the road here. So I got to go over there to her sister's house and see a long mill. I've been wanting to see one of those machines, and I hadn't seen one. Now the one she has is, I guess it's the Mark I, the older design, and the one they have now with that special extrusion, I think that's a Mark II. But really nice little machine. And then the next day they came here and we did a little show and tell demo stuff while they were here. And so I was going to ask Mary if one thing I was telling her, and I'm going to say it again, repeat it again tonight, because people just flat don't do it. But I told her, I said, now, while you're here, if you don't remember anything else that I tell you today, remember this one thing. And we talked about the files that you need to back up for when your computer crashes. Not if it crashes, when it crashes, because it will crash. So, in her case, it's the Mach 3 XML file, which is the machine profile, the Mach 3 license. If you got the license, you want to get that. You should have that somewhere anyway. And then the third one I like to get is, there are a lot of different versions of Mach 3. So if you've got one that you've been using and it works great, save that go to your download folder where you originally downloaded it and save it somewhere too. Keep all this stuff together. So there's the 3 files from Mach 3. And then of course, any other thing you might have, like if you've got Vectric VCarve Pro or Aspire, or, I know you can go get it and all that, but be smart. Just make copies and put it someplace. That way, God forbid the internet is broke or something the day your computer crashes, you can still get up and going just within a few minutes if you have all that stuff saved. Basically, when you're thinking about your computer, you should just say, okay, if I lose this tomorrow, am I screwed or is it going to be okay? And if the answer is yes, I'm going to be screwed, you need to back it up. So, and especially, and of course, that's not to mention any programs. Like if you're doing something, you're selling stuff on Etsy or whatever, you don't want to have to reprogram all that stuff. So, anyway. All right. Well, I guess, what's that?
There's a few things I started for you.
Oh, okay. Where'd they go? Oh, well, might help if I get over to the comments, huh? Okay, let's see. Jerry Brown says, I have to get the revolution running, but got banned on Facebook for a month.
So he'll be doing it on YouTube.
So I'll be doing it on YouTube. Okay, all right.
Old Jerry's in a jail cell.
There you go. Troublemaker, I tell you. Okay, let's see. JR says, moving from Charleston, South Carolina to Richmond, Virginia for an opportunity. If y'all have moved heavy shop equipment, did you sell and rebuy on the other side or just pay up to move your shop? That right there is why I'll die right here. I got too much junk. Or I'm sorry, stuff, tools.
Yeah, it's not junk.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll die right here. But I don't know. I don't think some of that stuff's that hard to move.
Yeah, personally, I would move the equipment instead of buying new, unless you wanted just new equipment, because you're not going to be able to sell it for what you bought it for, and the going through the hassle of trying to sell it and dealing with people and then if they have what you want in stock somewhere. So I would move it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is expensive to move it.
Well, now according to Jerry, he said he sold his entire shop and started over when he moved to Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess it depends on how far you got to move and all that. But
yeah,
if somebody made me move where I had to move, I would take my stuff with me. I think the expensive stuff anyway, because like Ryan says, you can't get what you paid for it, and then you got to turn around. Even if you buy the exact same thing, you're probably going to pay more than what you paid a few years ago when you bought it. Thanks, Joe. So, I would try to move it unless it's just a real pain to do. But Tim says, Dave, are you still doing your sticker board you were using when using your wood lathe? Yeah, I still have. I couldn't get anybody to send me stickers. I had a few people send it, and I never. I put the ones that sent them on there, sent me stickers. I put them on there, and then that was it. Nobody sent them. So I probably should. That white tarp back there would be a good place for stickers. If anybody wants to send me one, I might put it on there. But I don't. Apparently, and maybe one reason why I don't get a lot of stickers is because they know they won't get one back. Because I don't really do stickers. I got a machine that's got CNC on the side of it. I'll sell you, but I don't really do the sticker thing. But I know other people do, and I figure, well, they want to send me one, I'll put it where it can be seen. But anyhow.
Tom
Uh,
Frazier has one
Tom
here.
Frazier has a question.
All righty.
Pull it up.
Would like to build a CNC router to cut 48-inch balsa, light ply, and aircraft ply, perhaps some aluminum. With a 48 by 16 by 8 table out of MDF. Well, I had to stop right there when I read MDF. I wouldn't build anything out of MDF. If you want to build something out of wood, plywood's a lot more stable, I think, than the MDF is.
Now, do you use plywood for your spoil board? Or do you use MDF for your spoil board?
I use MDF, but it's all, if I can get my hand back around there, the first layer is 3/4 plywood so that I have something to screw the T-track to, and that way it won't pull out. And then the MDF is glued on top of that. But I'm very picky about, and of course you can't do anything about the humidity in the air, but I don't set a cold, sweaty drink down on it and stuff like that. Because you know how MDF is. Once you get it wet, it's like a sponge. It soaks it up. So I've taken pieces of MDF that are 3/4 inch and take them around there and lean them up outside when I'm getting ready to get a pile for the fire pit or something, and a good rain will come along. You go back out there and this stuff's like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'd try to build anything out of MDF other than a spoil board. I wouldn't try to make the machine out of it. JR's a fan of the torsion box. Yeah. George says, whole issue of computers dying is a fact. Great plan to back up everything on a separate hard drive. Yeah, and here, this is what I don't understand. Some people, it's like, well, my computer died, and I don't know how to get Mach 3 back. Well, if they don't have their settings, more than likely they probably don't have their license file either, and that's what you pay for crying out loud. You gotta think of it. It's not just a file; it's money.
Yeah.
Because if you lose it, you got to buy it again. So treat it like money, because that's what it is. And you should have not only have it backed up one place, have it backed up. I've got stuff backed up on every computer I have. That computer I can't point right, back here. I know I always go the wrong way. There's a computer back there that I use for the Avid. I got stuff on there. I got stuff on my office computer. There's stuff on this computer. There's stuff on a laptop. I would have to have about 6 computers die all at once for me to lose anything that I've paid for.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, birch ply, if you can get it, just a good quality plywood. It.
Yeah, the cabinet grade
I'm sure
plywood.
there's going to be people that'll tell me that disagree with me, but I've been making machines out of good quality plywood for years, and not just me telling you they're great machines. Go look on the Facebook website and ask people what they think about them, what kind of repeatability and stuff they get out of them. They're right up there with any of them. Let's see.
And you can write on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can write on it. You can write it on it.
Mine, no feet.
Yeah. Yeah, Jerry said he's got 3 computers in the shop. Yep. Okay. Well, man, y'all still hanging around. I don't know. The giveaway's over, y'all. Some of them still hanging around here. I appreciate y'all hanging around. Like I said, I really didn't think we'd have much of a crowd tonight because of, it's a 3-day weekend. I know y'all got something better to do than watch this show. You should have anyway. But
Well, you still got
glad you're here.
57 watching.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's dropped a few, but we didn't have but about 60, just over 60 when we did the drawing. So.
Good deal.
Or says that day Dave did the ride on the CNC was a great salesman. Yeah, and if you watch this show, you'll see it in the intro at the end of the intro every time.
Yeah, and if you like the old cow jokes, he had a moving experience.
Oh man! You
Let's don't start it, folks.
you guys. All right. Well, I guess we're gonna get out of here. I'm checking my my little 3D printer. It's still running. Don't look like it's. Nah, it looks like there's still some filament hanging down over there. I can't believe that thing's still running because they just don't send you much anymore. Used to, they'd send you not a full size spool, but a spool with, a fair amount on it. And now it's not even on a spool. They just kind of coil some of it up, put a couple of twisty ties on it and go, here you go.
Wow.
I remember when I got that ender about about 2 months ago, I put that white, the filament they send with it and ran it. And when it got done, there was 7 inches hanging out from the extruder. So take that 7 inches and then maybe another, I don't know, maybe total of 20 inches. And that's how close it was to running out when I was running that test thing. But anyway, all right, let's get out of here. Everybody go on and have yourself a good, safe Memorial Day. Don't be doing anything stupid. I heard people around here. I'll tell you what, I don't know what it is around folks around here. I went out there last night. It was after dark and letting Jack do his business before we turned in for the night. And I heard people shooting off fireworks. And I'm like, come on, people. I don't get that. But anyhow, y'all be safe, and I'm still hearing something around here. I'm hoping it's in these headphones. Maybe it's just noise.
Somebody suggested you set up a trail camera out there and see what it is.
I have a security camera right there.
No.
That if there's anything out here moving around, it'll record it. But I keep hearing something over in that corner, I think. But anyway, all right, we're going to get out of here. Thank you all for tuning in. Ryan, I hope you get to feeling better.
Appreciate it.
We're not going to get this dadgum scoreboard hung up like this, man.
I tell you, it's killing me.
Rub some dirt on it or something. Let's go.
Evidently, that's the problem. Is that we rub dirt on it. Don't rub dirt on it.
Yeah.
Oh,
All
George,
right.
the dog. She's laying on her little bed over here. You can't see it because the elliptical that I don't use is covered in dirt. It's blocking it, but she's sitting over there on her bed.
Yeah.
Frankie CNC just joined up in time for us to say bye.
All righty. Yep. All right. Well, we're going to get out of here. Everybody have a good weekend. Thank you, Russ, for popping in here. Appreciate you, buddy. You can hang around. We'll chat a while. Paul, thanks for joining us tonight. And I guess that's going to do it. We will see y'all next week, I reckon.
Good night,
Everybody have a good one.
everybody.
See ya.
That's for Al.